Hello and welcome back after a brief hiatus. Campus Connect is back, and this time again in IMI, International Management Institute. Many thanks for the management to help us set up here. Please give a huge round of applause to the audience yourselves for being here. Many thanks for giving us the space as well as the opportunity. Today on the panel, of course, we start with Diptosh Majumdar. Please give him a huge hand. He's the National Affairs Editor of NewsX. Professor Abhishek Nirjar, from your faculty, he teaches strategy. Chandan Yadav of the Congress Party is also here. Please give him a huge round of applause. Completing the panel today is Deepti Rawat of the BJP. Many thanks, Deepti, for joining us tonight. The show tonight, of course, is about a burning issue. Diptosh, I'd like to start with you. The UPSC controversy has been burning for a few days. Protesters are out in the streets as well. There are all kinds of theories doing the rounds. Some people say it's a Hindi versus English divide, a North versus South divide. It's dividing India on class lines. I have a slightly different take on it. Do you agree it's not about language? It's about something else at the heart of it?
To some extent, yes. But to begin with, it was a Hindi protest. A protest that Hindi should be established to its primary status of primacy in the CSAT exams, which is a prelims exam. But in this 21st century, in this globalized world, we cannot run away from English.
Absolutely.
This is
a beautiful point
fact
that
of the matter.
Yeah.
And besides, the question will always be raised. This test has been going on, CSAT in this form, since 2011. Why this protest comes 3 years later in 2014? Is there a political smell to the entire controversy? Should we sniff that also?
Is it a political? Is there a political smell, Professor Nirjar, or do you think at the heart of it, it's an academic debate?
Well, it seems to be a political smell to that whole issue, because if you talk of the academic side, the Government of India has 2 languages, bilingual system, English and Hindi. And if that is the case, then taking up English as a language for evaluation at the level of recruiting civil servants shouldn't be a problem, shouldn't be an issue. But it's being made an issue out of all this situation, as Mr. Mukherjee said, 2011 and now. While the academic merit is that CSAT is all about checking on logical reasoning and analytical abilities, which is done all across, whether it's management schools for recruiting managers, whether it's about going into probationary officers, at all levels of recruitment, this is something which is being checked. Right. And I think it's a very just decision to do that.
Right. Okay, let's put a very quick voice vote to the audience before I come to the 2 politicians on the panel. How many of you agree that at the heart of it, it's an academic debate, and also the point that Diptosh raised, we cannot really shy away from learning English? Who says yes? Yes. How many people, first of all, I'll come to you. How many people believe that in this particular day and age, even though we respect our national language Hindi, we cannot shy away from learning English, especially for bureaucrats? People who agree will say yes? Yes! All right, that's a perfect majority for you there, a voice majority. You have a very quick point. I want to come to you, then I want to go to the politicians on the panel. What's your name?
My name is Sudeshna, and what I want to add here is that Hindi being the important language, it is necessary because you're going to rule the country India, and majority of the people know Hindi. But then when you're representing your country outside, then you need to be. UPSC produces students who are going to represent your country outside. And for that, you need to know English.
It's not just people representing the country outside. If you have to manage a country like India, which is multilingual and perfectly like the south of India, don't really, the people don't really speak Hindi. So if you have a knowledge of English, that could be helpful. Yes or no?
Yes.
I agree with your point. More points coming up, but first, let's get a reaction from the couple of politicians on the show. Chandan Yadav, would you agree with my young friend here when she says that nobody is really dissing Hindi, nobody is saying Hindi, learning Hindi or promoting Hindi is bad, but we can't shy away from learning a language that sort of binds the country?
If you allow me, can I come later? But let me begin by saying, I condemn Bharatiya Janata Party for organizing a lathi charge on the protesting students who were last night. If they cannot answer their question, please don't give a blow of lathis on them. They have messed up the entire issues, starting with FYUP in Delhi University, and what you can expect from a high school past education minister and his team.
Well, isn't that politicizing the issue? Who thinks he's politicizing the issue here?
Not politicizing.
Yeah, everybody thinks you're politicizing the issue.
See, politics, politics, countries run through politics, then we have to decide what is our politics. That is their politics. They started with the FYP. Remember, they're playing with the student community. The youth of this country voted Narendra Modi with high hope. And let's see what they're doing with. They did with Delhi University, now they're giving a blow to protesting students.
Condemnation over. Let's get to the point.
Now the point, I totally agree. Let me give you some fact. I have studied linguistics. So the constitutional part of a language debate is, we have 22 major languages, which is there in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. That is all official. And Hindi is an official language, national language, and English has been given the status of associate official language. Mind it, it is there in the Constitution. Country runs through Constitution, through laws.
Are you saying that the Bharatiya Janata
No, what
Party
I'm
is
saying
trying
is,
to politicize the issue?
I'm just placing certain debates so that the students can understand the politics of language, what the BJP is trying to play.
I just want to make a statement. Please, first of all, don't politicize this issue. This is for the future of our students, for everyone. And all the parties are together in this issue that no student should be discriminated. I mean, according to the language or whatever, to the subjects and things like that. But what Chandan is speaking is just half of the truth he's speaking. This issue, I mean, this thing was the CSAT exam for which we are standing here, we are talking about, which is the controversy. It has been, I mean, implemented during their period when there was UPA government in the year 2011. Why did you apply it, first of all? And the second thing, let me complete. The second thing, when there was a controversy and there was agitation of students and they were not, really feeling good about it, the exam. So the UPA government, the Congress government, they had a committee, they sat a committee, and that committee had to give a report in 3 months.
It is still not out.
But the report is still not out, which Congress has, they have made that committee.
Okay.
So,
I'll come to you. There are rebuttals on the show. Chandan, there are rebuttals on the show. I'll come to you.
You have done that thing and you have, you have created this thing.
Okay.
So you should not blame
Yes,
the
there are
other
questions. Now we need to
party
take
for
questions.
that.
Chandan,
And
I'll come to you for rebuttals.
BJP and our minister is for the students, and whatever we are going to do, we will do in favor of students, whatever is good for them.
Okay, absolutely. I'll come for rebuttals, Chandan. Do not worry about it. I need to go in and ask my young friends some questions. Do you have questions, my friends? I'll come to you as well. What's your name, my friend? Yes.
So I just have one question. Like science students who have science backgrounds study arts as their optional subject for the mains. So can't these protesting students study functional English for their preparation?
If there is a discrimination against Hindi versus English, I think a bigger issue really is engineering background students always score over traditional humanities and arts. That's one question for the panel. I'll come to you for that. What's your name?
My name is Arijit. Yes. And my question is, we are saying we are bringing in two fights, Hindi versus English. Another is BTech student versus humanities student. But if you see the requirement in IS, IPS, it is very logical reasoning which is required. So when we are seeing that front, rather than humanities people learning that, why will BTech student getting age is a matter. We should take into consideration that this is the requirement of this job. So humanities people, if they want to enter...
Protests are really as a form of people who don't want to compete at the highest level. Do you see that as?
To a certain extent, yes, but there are genuine concerns also.
There are genuine concerns, but to a large extent... more questions, please. You already spoken. Who else? Yes, my friend. What's your name? I'll come to you. Don't worry about it.
I'm Vinayak. I agree that we should not be politicizing this issue. And one more point is, people are talking about different languages in the country and all that. But historically, the UPSC exam has always been either in English or Hindi. So why are some political parties concentrating on the regional languages being affected in this? They were never in the picture of UPSC examination.
Okay, who agrees with that? Who agrees with that? Hands, please. Hands, please. All right, a lot of people agree with that. Why are political parties trying to do this? One more question before I go back to the panel. My friend over there, what's your name?
Hi, this is Tanvi. I guess the major concern that we should be focusing on is that how to capitalize the intellect and the potential of the people that are appearing for the exams rather than being concerned with the medium. And as far as local and regional languages are concerned, I have this issue that I'm not able to understand how a person appearing for an exam, let's say in some regional language, will be able to compete with the capital, with the intellect that will be out. Let's say he is selected for IFS, then how will he be able to represent the country outside?
All right, okay, that's a valid question. Panel, let me come to Diptosh first, and then I'm coming to you after that. Two reasons, two questions that were important. One, it's not just a language divide, it's not a north and south divide.
The engineering
humanities divide.
Well, the engineering question has to be looked at very carefully. I think there is a tendency of the engineering students being marked heavily in the IAS exams. The questions are set in that manner. But mind you, logical and analytical ability are going to be tested. And for humanities students, that's not always the real core strength. There can be the core strength, there are exceptions. I'm not saying there are exceptions, but engineering students who have done at the highest level, at their school level, and have gone into IITs, obviously have an advantage over that. We have to take into account that. And most of the students we know are either coming from the IITs or the top engineering colleges. And it's very difficult to get into that. Just check their school leaving marks before you really rule it out completely. So engineering students have an advantage. Right. You cannot really rule it out at this stage, but they must find a way to ensure there is a proper balance in the examinations.
Okay, very quickly, Professor Nijjar, your thoughts on this issue, then we go across to how to solve the exact problem and what the exact problem is. But you're very quickly, two questions put up by my two young friends. Do you agree with Diptosh? There is a sort of a problem there.
Yes, there is a big problem out there, and the problem is not confined to the civil services exam. It's also with the management entrance, whether it's a CAT or anything else. There's a higher proportion of engineers turning out successful in the exams. There's an issue of diversity, and probably as many institutions are now looking at catering to the diversity issue by having a proportion of people from engineering and other streams. Possibly the civil services also has to look at how they're going to have people from different streams.
Do you think that could be a possible solution there as well?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go for affirmative action. Yeah. Forced diversity is probably not the best way out.
Yeah, okay.
There should always be merit when we are choosing the best IAS officers.
Okay, fair enough. Very quickly, Chandan, respond to what you wanted to respond to when Deepti said, and let's not go political on this. Let's concentrate on the academic problem here. Then I go back to question.
A country is run by political parties. You elect a political party, and a political party runs the government. So political parties, how BJP is different from Congress? Because of its ideology. If BJP comes to power, what they do? They bypass all those autonomous institutions. I'm answering you. See, the UPSC is an autonomous constitutional body, which is being given the right by the Constitution of India, which nobody can challenge, to address all this issue. Congress party, BJP, or for any of us cannot do that. So whatever problem is there in the UPSC paper, so it has to be addressed democratically. Whatever students, any bias. Now my suggestion is, and that is where Bharatiya Janata Party went wrong on the governance issue.
No, Chandan, if the Congress was in power today,
I'll give you an analogy.
How would you do it differently?
Yeah,
how would you do it?
I'll give you an analogy. I'll give you an analogy. What happened? The student has some problem. They went to meet MOS personnel who is in charge of Jitendra Singh. What he said? He said with a group of protesting students, okay, don't worry, I will give you a result in 7 days, or the examination will be postponed. And the minister is saying, Government of India minister is a representative of the government. His words were told to the protesting students. And he failed to understand this is a governance issue. It cannot be solved in a week. It has to be addressed by UPSC.
Okay.
That is the problem issue.
Jitendra Singh did come out.
From your course, there has certain
okay, one second.
Postponing of exams has not been.
One second. Jitendra Singh did come out. Jitendra Singh did come out, and he assured the students that their problems will be taken care of in 7 days.
It was not. It was not there in the house. Nobody assured it, and minister didn't say it in the house that.
But he did say it.
He didn't
say it. He said that the government is assuring students, we'll postpone the exams, we'll
we will not postpone. It's not postpone. He will say we'll look into the matter, and we request. And I request that UPSC should postpone it. He didn't. He didn't just behave like a dictator, and he said that UPSC. The program has been postponed, or the exams has been postponed. He cannot postpone it. UPSC has to decide, and UPSC can postpone it. And he said that I request, and we request UPSC to postpone the exams. But UPSC, as you know that the admit cards are there, out. They didn't follow it, I mean.
One question. Chandan, one second.
Now the
I have a question. I have a question. One second. One second.
Now the
Chandan,
committee,
please.
Because
There are more
BJP
questions.
is headment of
There are more
all
questions, please,
committee
please.
is going to decide what is going
UPSC,
to
Delhi
happen.
University,
It's okay.
University Grant Commission.
Chandan, I
next
have a
will be
question.
yours, technical
I have a
university.
question. Can I please speak, Chandan? I only have a very quick question to Dipti. Then I go back to my audience. How do you propose? Does the BJP, does the government at the center see this as a Hindi versus English problem? How does the government see it? What is the government stand?
See, it's not a Hindi versus English. It's not North India versus South India. It's not versus, social studies versus the science students or something like that. It has to be the students who come, who qualify these civil services examinations has to be analytical, logical, reasoning, everything should be there. And students, I should ask you, the students here and you guys here, the students who were qualifying civil services before 2011, do you think they were, they were not deserving that post or something like that? But there has been a vast change. The Hindi medium students who were, qualified civil services examination before 2011 were almost 15%. And now it has deteriorated from 15% to only 3%. So what has happened?
Do you think
what
that
has
matters?
happened?
Do you
This
think
is the
that
question.
matters? Let's ask the audience.
Yeah.
So it matters. It matters for them. Do you think it's unfair to Hindi students what the current particular syllabus and the current pattern is? People who agree and say that the current pattern is discriminatory towards people from a Hindi background will say yes. People who don't agree will say no. The majority, I think, is with the no's right now. Who said no? Hands up, please. Can I come to someone and try and explain why it's not discriminatory? Will you explain it? Yeah. What's your name, my friend?
My name is Puneet. I feel it's not discriminatory. I would like to add on to what Tanvi said. For example, if somebody gets selected into an IFS, he's an IFS officer, he's going out of the country tomorrow, do you want him to carry a translator from India along with him so that what he's speaking in Hindi is translated to the English? Don't you think that's an additional...
But my friend, our Prime Minister does the same thing. Don't you think bureaucrats will try and follow his example?
He's the Prime Minister. There's a
public.
difference. And,
The common man of India.
And I would also like to say that there have been many mediums and platforms where our Prime Minister has resorted to English language as well. So, no, I'm saying that English is a necessity. It is a necessity,
Yes,
and for an exam like UPSC, it is a necessity.
Yeah.
You cannot have people, okay, if you have people qualifying, then you got to have something in place that after they qualify, they have to learn the English language. It's not only spoken English, but you have to write mails every day. How are you going to write mail if you don't know the English language?
I think...
Who agrees with my friend over here? There are people who want to speak yes from here as well. What's your name, my friend?
My name is Shashwat. I just want to bring in a fact into the matter that during the training period of all the civil services students who are selected, 40% of the first process, first phase of the training, 40% of the time goes into the training into the language in which they will have to deal daily. So the entire matter that we are more concerned about the language goes into the second phase. Our main concern is the capitalization of the intellectual of the students. That is the main concern.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody say who else wanted to respond? Yes. I'm coming to you as well, my friend.
Hi, my name is Akash. I just want to say that if we go as per the sentiment of present scenario, if we declare these exams in Hindi language, what if after 2-3 years other regional people get up and say that we want language, we want papers in Bengali or Telugu? What will you do according to?
Who else? There are hands here. What's your name?
Hello, I'm Shiva. And I have two things to say. One thing is an IAS officer can be stationed anywhere in India. Let's not talk about IFS officers. He can be stationed anywhere in India, and when he's addressing the media, and he has to talk in a language which is common. He can't learn the regional language just like that. So that is one. That is why you need English. And number two is, I believe that the number of students coming out of Hindi medium schools have drastically reduced, and the number of students coming out of convents, and hence the reduction in percentage. That percentage doesn't mean that the Hindi medium students don't get represented. It means that the number of Hindi medium students have reduced.
What is the basis of the controversy then? If you think that a number of people coming from Hindi medium has decreased, why are these people protesting? Be honest, don't fear anyone.
All right, I think there are two possibilities. There's more than just one possibility. One can be a political trigger. Yeah, that's a possibility. The second can be that these people, they might not really be competent enough.
I think the Hindi-speaking students are being deprived right now. There should be proper translations. Professional translators should be engaged. But again, I repeat, for 8 marks on or 10 marks on comprehension, which is class 10 comprehension, class 10 level comprehension to be answered by graduates, you need not run away from English. That is a basic possible English that you have to engage in. Number 2 point which I want to make is that I strongly object to saying that Chandan Yadav insisting that the HRD minister doesn't have a proper certificate. That is not the criteria for becoming a minister.
That is not the point here, absolutely. That is not the point.
Number 3 point, I have travelled to all over India and including the Mussoorie school where IAS trainees are taught. And I have seen the fantastic way in which all IAS probationers and others get to know the language of their cadre. North Indians speak fantastic Malayali in Kerala where they are posted. I have seen Tamilians speaking so wonderful Bengali in my home state in Calcutta. So obviously they are extremely linguistically capable people and are all trilingual. They know Hindi, English and one more Indian language where they are working.
Okay, more reactions from the audience. What's your name? Very quickly.
My name is Shivani. My question is for Chandan sir. Sir, it's just a thought that we're aware that the linguistic reorganization of the states has taken place many times. And it's all based on language. That means language is a soft point for the whole country. And Hindi is a point of debate. Why not unite the country both internally and externally using a medium that is English? Why are we against it?
I'd like you to answer that. More questions. I only have 5 minutes. I want to get as many reactions as possible. Very quick.
Here I am here, and our political system has been doing this. Our political system has been doing this since a long time. Do we decide anything at the cost of quality? I mean, what do we look in for an IAS or IPS officer? It doesn't matter whether the language is important or not. We want what we are looking in it. That is quality.
Point taken very quickly.
Myself, Ujjwal, when we were talking about that the students taking the exam in Hindi are deprived, see there are many phrases in English itself we people don't understand. And when we say that steel plant, when given in Hindi, they don't understand, it is their choice that they have taken Hindi as their own preference. When we are studying many things in English, it is many a time that we don't get it. So I don't think so. When we make a choice for ourselves, we are depriving ourselves of the other preferences.
Okay, we don't have much time on the show. Very quickly, 10 seconds.
Yeah, coming to the law point you said, sir, Article 143 of the Constitution clearly states that English and Hindi both are official languages of the country, and India does not have a national language as declared by Gujarat High Court in 2010, sir. Hindi is not our national language. Hindi is not our national language.
Okay, I don't have much time. Unfortunately, I don't have much time. We want to go towards the kind of steps need to be taken to resolve this crisis, if I can call it that. 10 seconds or less, starting with you, sir.
Okay. You know, what I suggest is for the state level civil service examination, the regional language compulsory.
Okay.
Let that happen. And for all India services, please let us continue with English.
Okay,
because without that we won't survive.
All right. Professor Nirjar, very quickly, don't have much time.
Right. I believe we've got to put this issue back to Professor S.K. Khanna committee, who's given the report for the CA.
And the report is not out yet.
Yes. And I think it's a good idea to revisit what has been done, and maybe the burning issue which is there should be put up to them, and for them to draw out what is the right picture that has to be drawn.
Chandan, 10 seconds or less, don't have much time.
No, Arthur, there were some serious charges by my fellow colleagues. Quickly. See, when I talked about her high school education, I meant after becoming HRD minister, the way she has been meddling with the education system of this country.
Okay,
she has been started targeting the autonomous institutions like Descartes, UGC, Delhi University, Dinanath Batraji, ICHR.
Separate issues, all are separate issues.
In that respect I made. Now coming to the point, I 100% agree that UPSC is a competent authority. I understand there are problems. This needs to be addressed. And the competent authority authorized by the Constitution of India should address this issue.
Okay.
Not unlike BJP, who is just trying to play with the future of the student. They played earlier also, or no, they're giving false promises.
Okay, last
And that's why all
word.
these protests are
Last
happening.
word from Dipti.
They should have said in the beginning, you go to UPSC, or the UPSC should have been brought,
All right, let her
and these are
respond.
the committees, they don't know how to govern this country.
Okay,
and
you
they're only
made your
playing
political
the
point. You made his political point. Let's get an answer from the BJP here.
Yeah, see, the protest is actually not for the, because like BJP has just come in the power, everybody knows it. The protest is actually for the former minister Kapil Sibal, Mr. Kapil Sibal, everybody knows, and the protesters also are protesting against him, Mr. Kapil Sibal, who was minister from the Congress, and it's not about Smriti Irani ji. And students here, I mean, you were talking about media, how they will, I mean, talk to media and they will communicate to media, and the students more are coming from the convent schools rather than Hindi medium. But if we see the rural India, the India is still very rural. We are staying in Delhi, so we are talking about this, but India is very rural. When we see the rural India, they are really incapable of understanding those English comprehensions. And the translation in Hindi is really bad, that a Hindi professor can even a Hindi professor cannot understand that Hindi in which that English comprehension has been transferred. So it's just one line that I want that every party should come together in this issue. There should be no politicization of this issue, and it should be for the good of the students.
All right, we have to end the show. Unfortunately, I cannot take single individual comments, but I would like to take a voice vote right now. If anyone in this particular audience has a one-line solution for the government on how to handle this crisis, I'm going to come to him for one line, and then we do a voice vote, then we wrap. Yes, what's your name?
Megha, I'm Megha. Can there be a provision for training after the student has been selected based on his intellectual competency?
It's always
Who had a one-line solution? Someone raised their hand, one-line solution? Yes, what's the one-line solution? After that,
it's Arijit here. The solution will be keep it as it is, and in the meantime look forward so that we can make English universal in India. Everyone gets that.
Okay, or one last voice vote. Do you think the government has handled this particular controversy adeptly? People who agree will say yes. People who disagree will say no. That's a majority for you. Unfortunately, we are completely out of time right now, and we have to end the show. Please give a huge round of applause to the panel. Diptosh Majumdar, Professor Abhishek Nirjar, Chandan Yadav, as well as Dipti Rawat. And give yourselves a huge round of applause. Many thanks for joining us. That's our show today. That's Campus Connect for you. We'll be back next week with a fresh topic. Till then, this is Athar Khan saying goodbye.